Kamen Rider Kaixa. Masato Kusaka, better known as Kamen Rider Kaixa, is the villainous protagonist of Kamen Rider 555 and the main antagonist of the novel adaptation Grotesque Flowers by Toshiki Inoue. This guy's idea of friendship, gaslighting, backstabbing, and the occasional attempted murder. In the novel version, he treated his childhood friend Mary Sonoda less like a person and more like a limited edition action figure he refused to share. He never loved Mary, to the point of raping her, showing how far he can go. After raping her, he basically forces Mary to date him, threatening her and her loved ones if she refuses. Kusaka's hatred for Orphnox was so intense, he made it his life's mission to exterminate them all. Peaceful Orphnox? Didn't matter. If you had Orphnox DNA, you were on his hit list. He even went as far as to manipulate others, like Yuji Kiba, turning friends into enemies faster than you can say henshin. He brutally unalives a pregnant Yuka by mutilating and stabbing her to death, with him doing this act mainly despite Yuji Kiba, causing him to turn against the humans, and when he wasn't busy being a sociopath, he was impersonating others, sabotaging relationships, and generally making everyone's lives miserable. So if you're ever feeling down, just remember, at least you're not Masato Kusaka. All for One. Shigaraki, better known as All for One, is the overarching antagonist of the My Hero Academia franchise. He is the founder and leader of the League of Villains and the former master and adopted father of Tomura Shigaraki. He's basically the ultimate villain with the power that lets him steal other people's quirks and either keep them for himself or give them to others. This man looked at a society full of people with cool superpowers and thought, buffet. Instead of using his power to maybe, I don't know, help people or open a very successful quirk rental business, he decided to become a shadowy crime lord, create chaos, manipulate desperate people, and basically go full, I want to rule everything and everyone mode. He stole quirks from heroes and civilians alike, like some kind of magical kleptomaniac. He raised a small army of villains, including the emotional trauma burrito that is Tomura Shigaraki. And he didn't just hurt people physically. Oh no, he emotionally scared them too, like a walking, talking therapy bill. He even manipulated Shigaraki from childhood like some kind of evil Pinterest parent for villains. All for One is like if Darth Vader, the Joker, and a very rude Jenny had a baby. But instead of granting wishes, he just ruins everyone's day, steals your best skill, and somehow still has time to monologue like a theater kid with a god complex. Bondrewd. Bondrewd, known by many as the Lord of Dawn, is the main antagonist of the Ido front arc of the anime and manga series Made in Abyss, the human embodiment of a red flag wrapped in a lab coat and dipped in a vat of no thanks. He's the kind of guy who smiles at you with genuine warmth, while holding a scalpel and asking if you mind terribly if he just, borrowed your consciousness for science. He's a white whistle delver, which in Made in Abyss land means he's one of the top-tier explorers of the terrifyingly deep pit known as the Abyss. But unlike other explorers who maybe just poke around for relics and scream when the curses hit, Bondrewd looked at the cursed, child-eating hellhole and went, yes, I will build my lab here. And yes, I will use children. For science. He began casually sacrificing orphan children, yes, orphans, Nanachi and Midi, because this guy is allergic to moral decency, to study the effects of the Abyss's curse. Spoiler, the one who gets the curse turns into a blob of sad. Midi's body was broken down and reduced to an abomination without the ability to move, speak, or presumably think. And get this, when he died, it didn't even matter, because he just downloaded his personality into another body like he was updating his phone. Man had a whole army of himself ready to go. Light Yagami. The straight-A student who stumbled upon a magical notebook and thought, why not play God? Because that always ends well. He is the main protagonist of the manga series Death Note, as well as its multiple adaptations. So Light finds this Death Note, a notebook that unalives anyone whose name is written in it. Naturally, he tests it out on a couple of criminals, but instead of stopping there, he decides, hey, I'll just cleanse the world of all evil and become its deity. He adopts the alias Kira, which sounds like a trendy new energy drink, but is actually derived from the Japanese pronunciation of killer. Under this moniker, he embarks on a global killing spree, offing anyone he deems unworthy. Judges, criminals, nosy detectives, no one is safe. He He had Naomi Mizura die without a trace, use an unalive Ray Penber, psychologically manipulated and abused Misa Amane through her undine love and loyalty towards Kira, used Rem to unalive El and Watari, unalive the US president, and many more. He feels zero remorse for his actions. In fact, he finds it exhilarating. When Ryuk, the Shinigami who dropped the Death Note, points out that by eliminating all evildoers, Light himself becomes the sole remaining evil, Light shrugs it off. In the manga, he dies when Ryuk writes his name in his own Death Note, just as the Shinigami had warned when they first met. So, if you ever find a mysterious notebook lying around, maybe just use it for doodles. Green Goblin. Norman Osborn, the man, the myth, the walking cautionary tale of why mixing science experiments with a god complex is a recipe for disaster. Known in villainous circles as the Green Goblin, Norman decided that being a wealthy industrialist just wasn't enough. No, he needed to don a festive green outfit, hop on a flying glider, and throw pumpkin-shaped explosives at people. Norman's idea of father-son bonding involved selling his own son Harry's soul to Mephisto only for business success, simply because he was jealous of his more successful business partner. He unalived Gwen Stacy, Spider-Man's first love, by throwing her off a bridge. He buried Aunt May and faked her death just to mess with Peter Parker. And let's not forget the time he kidnapped Peter and Mary Jane's baby, made them think the child had died. He even turned his own grandson, Normie, into a monster by fusing him with the Carnage symbiote who later tried to unalive him with an axe while under the influence of the Carnage symbiote. He unalived Ben Reilly simply to hurt Peter Parker. He poured alcohol down Flash Thompson's throat, causing him to have a car accident. What makes this worse is that at the time, he was a recovering alcoholic. Norman Osborn is the kind of guy who looks at a line and thinks, how many times can I cross it before breakfast? He is a cocktail of genius, insanity, and malevolence, shaken, not stirred, into the Green Goblin. Robert Daly. The man who took Don't Meet Your Heroes and turned it into Don't Let Your Coworkers Near Your DNA. He's the socially awkward CTO from Black Mirror's U.S. Callister, who decided that if he couldn't get respect in the real world, he'd just build a virtual one where he was the captain, the god, and the ultimate space tyrant. Using a modded version of his own game, Infinity, Daly created digital clones of his colleagues by stealing their DNA from everyday items. He transformed his coworkers into unwilling participants in his sci-fi fantasy, forcing them to act out episodes of his favorite show, Space Fleet, and if they didn't play along, he'd erase their faces, turn them into grotesque aliens, or, in one particularly dark move, clone a colleague's child and eject the poor kid into space. Daly's idea of fun included removing his clone's naughty bits to keep things wholesome. He also ensured he was the only one with a working weapon, making every mission a one-man show where he saved the day while his crew cheered or else. In the end, his digital dictatorship crumbled when his virtual victims outsmarted him, escaping into the main game while he was left trapped in his own private server, unable to log out. Meanwhile, in the real world, he was comatose with a Do Not Disturb sign on his door, a fitting end for a man who turned escapism into enslavement. So if you're ever tempted to play God in a video game, maybe stick to building cities or managing a farm. It's a lot less creepy, and your coworkers will thank you. Scarlet King. SCP Foundation's ultimate cosmic drama queen, the flaming hot embodiment of I hate everything, especially you and your mom. He's not just evil, he's capitally evil, with a dash of existential dread. Basically, he's what happens when you let Lovecraft write a villain while going through a breakup. Real name Herrick, later known more famously as the Scarlet King, is the major antagonist of the SCP Foundation series. This guy's backstory is more chaotic than a Reddit thread at 3 a.m., but generally, the Scarlet King is an ancient interdimensional entity who wants to destroy reality because reasons. Maybe he didn't get enough hugs. Maybe he just hates Mondays. Either way, this guy wakes up every morning and chooses apocalypse. He decided that all of existence should be destroyed once and for all, starting by devouring his own siblings and gaining strength from their essences. He destroyed gods. One of the gods he subjugated was a goddess named Sana, whom he took as his wife before raping her to death. In the process, she gave birth to 7 daughters, whom he then fertilized with leviathans, brainwashed Hevel into becoming the immortal barbarian Ableshel. He is also the reason why Hevel became SCP-076-2. Scarlet King is that ancient horror who doesn't just want to rule the world. He wants to smash it into cosmic glitter and throw it into the void, just for funsies. Black Noir, the silent, brooding ninja of the boys' comic series. But don't let his stoic demeanor fool you. He's not just a man of few words, but a clone of Homelander with a penchant for chaos. Created by Vought American as a contingency plan to eliminate Homelander should he go rogue, Black Noir's life took a turn for the worse. Imagine being designed to unalive someone, but that someone never misbehaves enough to warrant your intervention. Frustrated and perhaps a tad bored, Noir decided to spice things up by impersonating Homelander and committing heinous acts, hoping to frame him and finally get the green light to fulfill his purpose. His actions also fueled Billy Butcher's hatred and vendetta against Homelander, after Noir raped Butcher's wife Becky while disguised as Homelander, and sparked the feud between the Seven and boys in the first place. His resume of atrocities is, shall we say, extensive. From mass murder and terrorism to more unspeakable acts like cannibalism and psychological abuse, Black Noir didn't just cross the line, he obliterated it. He unalived Butcher's dog, Terror, and framed it on Jack from Jupiter, took out an entire school bus, sexually assaulted Starlight alongside Homelander, and A-Train sexually assaulted Huey inside a sewer during the Herogasm event, and many more. Black Noir is the kind of villain who makes other villains look like amateurs. A clone with a mission, a mask, and a twisted sense of purpose, he redefines the term evil twin in the most unsettling ways. Hey everyone! Thank you all for watching until the end. I'll be back with more videos, so make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for my next video, comment them down below.